This is Top Contender Boxing. Keep it real, 100 unbiased. Today's topic is the Canelo bout against John Ryder. Well, let's say this. A lot of things were different about this fight. One, they fought in Mexico. They fought in Canelo's hometown of Guadalajara, Jalisco, where he's from. They fought in a ring that was 18 by 18. You know, when Canelo fought Billy Joe Saunders, they fought in a 24 by 24 ring, which is a lot bigger. In this fight, it caused the fighters, all the fighters from the prelims to the beginning fights, you know, to the Canelo fight, they all fight in a tighter square. So they had to fight a little more tighter. And I don't know who asked for that tighter ring. I don't know who really asked for it. But all I know is when they fight in Mexico, they fight in tighter rings to give you more of a slugfest, to give you more of a brawl, so you don't have to box and run, and you know, like some other fighters would say, to run. You know, this fight was more of a toe-to-toe type of fight, and this fight did not disappoint. A lot of the early fights did not disappoint on the Canelo undercard, but for the Canelo fight against John Ryder, it was gonna happen the way it was gonna happen. It's just my surprise was that the ring was so tight that neither man had true space. You know, they had space in the ring, but they really didn't have space in the ring. John Ryder was fighting the fight real tight with his head down, and he's a southpaw, so he keeps himself open to an angle and tight in another angle. And Canelo, he dropped John Ryder twice. I had Canelo winning about 9 rounds, and the rest was John Ryder. You know, 9. I had Canelo winning this fight purely. You know, Canelo didn't lose a step. He looked a bit stronger. But, you know, with fighting so tight and fighting so close, you got to understand, you're going to be swinging a lot more. In this fight, I was around a lot of family members, and a lot of family members were giving John Ryder a lot of respect because the man was throwing after getting dropped so many times. He got dropped twice. He was stumbling a couple times. He looked hurt. I think he had a broken nose in the fight. He was bleeding the whole fight. And he was a dog, John Ryder. He was a dog in this fight. You got to give him his respect. You know, he had landed some nice, beautiful combinations. A lot of good body shots to Canelo. And then leading with a lot of uppercuts. You know, because of that tight type of fight and that ring real close and tight. But Canelo dominated the fight. Canelo had the more clear power shots, the more clear landing. He was more dominating. He was leading Ryder to where he wanted to lead him. And, you know, one thing about this fight, Canelo's still king. He's still supreme at 68. You know, I think, because if you know boxing, if you truly know boxing, if you want to go toe-to-toe with me when it comes to talking about boxing, or go toe-to-toe with anybody that knows boxing, you'll know that John Ryder beat Callum Smith. And Callum Smith was the biggest 68 that Benavidez wanted nothing to do with. Callum Smith had the belt before Benavidez. They called each other out so they can unify. Benavidez wanted no smoke with Callum Smith. He never called out Callum Smith. Callum Smith called for Benavidez. Well, when Callum Smith fought John Ryder, if you guys go look at that fight, John Ryder and Callum Smith, you'll see that John Ryder had his number the whole entire fight, and that was a true robbery. That's why I knew John Ryder was no nobody. He was a somebody. He's strong. He was a strong competitor in this ring today. I think strong, even though he got dropped twice, he was stronger than Callum Smith. And look where Callum Smith is at right now, at 75, hurting people, dropping contenders, dropping fighters. And with John Ryder, you know, you got to give it to him. He beat a Jacobs, who none of the Charlos wanted to fight Jacobs. Boo Andre didn't want to fight Jacobs. Canelo and Ryder are the only ones that fought Jacobs and Gigi. And again, there you go. None of those guys wanted to fight Gigi. Think about it. Canelo's only fought fighters. Canelo's only fought true competitors. I think after this fight, people got to understand that Canelo right now wants that rematch with Bivol. I think he purposely, maybe he wanted the ring this tight to not give away his defensive strategy, what he's going to have in the next fight. He probably just showed Bivol, okay, but Canelo's got the same style. He's going to do the same thing in the next fight. Okay. But we've all seen Canelo against Jacobs when he danced and moved and used his defense. In this fight, he showed no defense. In this fight, he just showed we're going to fight toe-to-toe in a tight surrounding. It benefited both fighters. And obviously, Canelo looked real good in this fight. But, you know, Canelo, he has no business right now fighting Benavidez. If anything, I want to see Benavidez fight John Ryder. And that's something that hasn't been said or anything. After this fight, I would love to see John Ryder fight Benavidez. Why? Because Benavidez had, I'm not going to say had a tough time with Caleb Plant, but he couldn't knock out Plant. He couldn't hurt Plant. They were going toe-to-toe. Plant was toe-to-toe. Plant wasn't running on Benavidez. When Plant fought Canelo, he was running. He was defensively being mindset the whole entire fight. Plant. He was fearing Canelo's power. That's why he went down in the 11th. Did he go down to Benavidez? No. Did he look hurt against Benavidez? No. Did they even try to wave off the fight against Benavidez? No. That's why I'd like to see Benavidez and Ryder, because that will show how close Benavidez is to Canelo in reality. Canelo right now, if he doesn't get the 75 with Bivol, because that's where he wants to meet him at, 75. If Canelo meets him at 75, he wants to redo that fight, you know, doesn't want to make himself look bad and make new excuses for new haters. Because new haters, what their excuse will be that, oh, Canelo weight drained him down to 68. Why do we want to do that? Why do we want to see that? Canelo has, the 75-pounder has no business going down to 68. It's like Canelo going back down to 60. What are people going to say? Oh, well, Canelo's weight draining. Oh, Canelo's cherry picking all the way down to 60. Oh, fuck. I have the same standard for Bivol if he goes down to fight Canelo at 68. I'd rather keep it at 75, because what is there to gain? I mean, Bivol will only look more greater if he keeps beating him at 75. That means Canelo's not able to fight at 75. That means he owns him at 75, point blank. So this fight, if Canelo gets at 75, this would be awesome. I think Canelo will just show a different element. He, just barely got back from surgery. He looked like his hand was in full effect. I mean, he dropped the guy twice. I mean, he couldn't stay down, but you're fighting somebody who wants to win. You're fighting somebody who's got heart and came all the way to Mexico to train. And it's a long camp. Ryder had a lot of heart. Out of all the 68ers that Canelo's fought in a minute, he had a lot of heart. Like I said, he's beaten Colin Smith. This is John Ryder. If Dave Benavidez is watching and hearing a lot of these commentators and watch this fight, he's gonna want to fight John Ryder, because that'll be the closest thing to Canelo. I'm not gonna say closest like punch to punch, but power and heart wise, yeah, John Ryder was right in that mix. He ain't gonna go down easy. He doesn't go down easy. And besides all this, what Canelo should do and what Benavidez should do, this was a great fight. Canelo won beautifully. He put down a masterpiece. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys very much.